Good morning, everyone. It's Friday. I actually don't even know what the date is. I have to look. It's November 30th. It's been one of those weeks. And this is our question of the week, number 3. And this question actually comes from Susan. And the question is about past lives. And there's a couple questions, so I'm going to try to address both of them. She says, I have one that relates to past lives. I understand that we all have them, and that we can carry traumatic experiences or fears from those lives into this one, such as a fear of flying. Can we recall our past lives? I know that, she said to me, I know that you can recall our past lives, but can we recall our past lives? And then the other question is, do our souls go to heaven in between each life? And if so, can we recall our time there? So this is a great question, but it actually connects with a lot of other questions. And I may try to attach a link in this video if I can, either to the video itself if I can figure out how to do that, or below it, because this question relates to the idea of time. And the way we understand time, and our mind understands time in a linear, like we have this life, then we die, then we have this life, and we die, then we have this life. And it actually isn't like that. What we now know about time is that time is an illusion that we live in when we're in this world. Our mind is focused into this point in time, and each point of focus of the consciousness of the soul creates this experience of it being linear time. And what's actually happened, and I did a drawing, which is very elementary to try to explain this a little bit, but this is how I understand it to be. That the idea of the word past lives would be more accurate to say simultaneous lives. So believe it or not, you have this incredible great soul that is able to focus its consciousness into all places at once. Okay, I know this is really hard for the mind to get. But what I did is I drew this drawing, and this being like representation of the focus of the soul's consciousness, and this circle being all the lifetimes that your soul is living. Or if you thought about the concept of past lives, you'd say have lived. But in reality, all of those lifetimes are actually going on at the same time. I know this is confusing for people, but bear with me, okay? So what happens is that the soul's consciousness, the soul's focus is directed into each one of these lifetimes. And so your focus right now that you're aware of is in your lifetime of this personality, okay? So to answer your question, can you discover what your other past lives are? Absolutely. But what you have to do is bring your awareness to your soul's awareness, and then ask your soul to reveal to you other lifetimes that you're currently in. Okay? It is that simple. But then what you have to do is just open and relax using awareness, and images and pictures will flash to you to show you pieces and parts and that are important, or that your soul feels would be helpful for you to know. The other thing that I've noticed about lifetimes or simultaneous lives with clients is this is what I focus on when somebody comes to me for what is called a past life revelation. There are actually lifetimes that are integrated or connected to each other, which is why I drew this line here. And if you look, here's a line here. That means that these lifetimes are actually interacting together. For example, when you said your fear of flying, the fear of flying might actually be related to an experience that's going on here, and this lifetime, and this lifetime, and maybe even this lifetime are all working on mastering that fear. Or this lifetime had an experience that created the fear, and so this lifetime is actually doing the healing. And it does work that way. It's really beautiful how it works. It's like all of these create a whole, the whole soul. And so all of these lifetimes actually work together. And there can be experiences in those lifetimes that what we call traumatize They're not really traumatizing to your soul. They're just experiences. But they can affect and have an effect on all the other lifetimes. So all the healing work, this is the cool thing about it, all the healing work that you do in this lifetime actually assists all your other lifetimes as well. It's like shared knowledge, shared wisdom. Okay? Different, and there's, of course, infinite possibilities for these lifetimes. This really gets into quantum physics. I mean, I talk about quantum physics all the time because everything that I've discovered in spirituality links into the quantum physics findings. So I hope I'm explaining this in a way that will help you. But you don't have lives that were, you have lives that are. And these lifetimes can affect each other in the now, okay? They can hinder you or they can help you, okay? So the other question you said was, so do our souls go to heaven in between each life? Well, there is no between each life. When you are finished experiencing this lifetime, what you actually do is return to the center of your consciousness, and you are aware of all of your lifetimes at that point. You're aware of all the places where your soul's focus is at. And I know that that requires the idea of time. So this is the best way that I can explain it, that our minds will somewhat grasp. Okay? Let me see if there's anything else that I actually might want to mention to you. I think there's an incredible value in connecting with your simultaneous lives. I did have a really cool experience once. It wasn't cool in the middle of it. It kind of freaked me out once. But I do share. I've shared this with my students and when I've taught the past life class before. There was a moment when I was really, getting into the concept of past lives and how they could help me and that kind of thing. And I was actually resting and meditating. And I opened my eyes because I heard a noise. And I was sitting in a boat in a very dark, dry, like desert kind of environment, going down this river in this little tiny boat. It was packed full of people. I could see an older male sitting across from me, deep wrinkles, darker skin, looked very Middle Eastern to me. He was staring at me like, "What's wrong with you?" And I noticed the water, very muddy water, and we're going down this boat, and I'm thinking to myself, what the hell is going on? I'm Martina. How am I here? And I got a little bit panicky, and I looked down, and I noticed that I had the hands of an older man, wrinkled, deep skin, and at that point, I actually started to scream. And in the screaming experience, everything like blipped out and I was in this body again. So I'm sure there's all kinds of people out there that could, make up all kinds of reasons as to why that happened and it was a dream, whatever. But I have to say, from my own personal experience, I was wide awake and consciously aware of what was going on, and it freaked me out. So when I came back to my body, I asked my spirit guide, who I trust very much, what had just happened. And the answer he gave me was, you were wanting to know about past lives, and what we showed you is that this is actually a parallel life. This one is at this time in the world's history, you have another part of your consciousness across the world in the body of this older male. So your soul is many places at once. So that really doesn't relate to past lives, but it does give you the idea that my soul showed me that we are not only in this body in this lifetime and then in different bodies and different lifetimes, but we can also be present on this same planet in another body at the same time. Now that blew me away. So that was a mind-expanding experience for me. And I don't wish it upon you. I'm telling you, it was a really freaky thing. I thought somehow I had dropped down in the wrong body and I was going to be stuck. And I like my life, so I didn't want to be stuck in that. So anyways, that's probably as much as I could go into with your explanation for your question without having a whole entire class about it. So, God bless and have a great weekend.